my first guest for the morning. Later, we'll be joined by Alexander Kwamina Afenyo-Markin, who is a Member of Parliament for Efutu. And in the studio now is Member of Parliament for Damongo. And Adam Utawakilo is my guest.
Thank you.
How are you? Okay, we check the front page of the papers. Very interesting, but prominent is the subject of the public sector workers' strike. And many of them didn't really abscond their jobs yesterday. That's on Wednesday. They did indeed attend work. Yeah. And gave an indication that, well, they didn't really get the communication right from their leadership, who had indicated they were willing to make sure their members were on strike. But it's a subject of pensions and the management of the second-tier contributions of the workers of the Republic of Ghana, who are in the public sector, of course.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and more especially the good people of Damongo constituency. Yeah, this has gone on for a while. Yesterday, they started a strike, and once most of the workers still went to work, means that first, whether they have the general view of the people of the workers of Ghana. Two is they were still negotiating with government. And on the 15th, they were supposed to meet the Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, which they didn't attend. So to me, they did not exhaust all the options given in the labor law. And therefore, I urge that they should rescind their decision, go back to the negotiation table, exhaust all the opportunities. Government has not squandered their money. The money is there. And it's the trustee who to give it to invest. That is a thorny issue. And I don't think it should amount to going on strike, 12 union bodies. I don't think that is the best. If you look at the effect on it on productivity, at the end of the month you will be paid, just to correct, to make sure that it is given a trustee and then we go on strike, I don't think is the best. Even though they have the right to decide, once they are negotiating with government, they should make sure they exhaust all available options before deciding on whether to go on strike. According to the minister, even the strike wasn't communicated to them as at yesterday morning. Yes.
But for a dialogue process in which one party decides to go on strike, it also gives an indication that there's an element of lack of trust.
I don't think so.
A lack of trust for government?
No.
And its activities and the way government seems to be doing a lot of things.
Sometimes it's the eagerness to put pressure on government, not necessarily lack of trust. Most Ghanaians, and that is, believe that strike will always solve their problems. And I think we should, as a government, should make sure that strike shouldn't be the only solution to solve our problems. I think with post-tag, we stood firm and everything got resolved. And I think that we should also look at it from the point that you don't go to work, and at the end of the month you go to pick your salary, which go and think about it, for being paid for no work done. Because at the end of the month they will be paid, and everybody expects to be paid. Meanwhile, you have not worked for it. We as workers should go and sit down and think over it. I have not worked, but I've been paid.
So in all this that's happening for workers, public sector workers, and led by 12 unionized groups, saying they want to go on strike or calling for their membership to go on strike, you think there's nothing in it? They have no legitimate concerns?
Legitimacy doesn't mean strike. They have raised issues, and that's why negotiation is there. They can appoint a mediator to come in, exhaust that option, then at the end of the day, they say government is not willing to listen to us, and therefore, on this day, we'll be going on strike, and they serve the appropriate authorities. That is what I expected them to do. They didn't pick any mediator to mediate and just announce they're going on strike. And that is why most members were not even aware, because as a body, they needed to sensitize members to get at least a greater percentage of the support of members. And therefore, when they declare it, everybody will respond. So, but this case, most workers went to work. That means that they hurriedly took the decision without proper consultation within the structures of the union.
Well, we'll see how that goes. We'll have to take a break. When we come back, Alex Afenyo-Markin is the Member of Parliament for Efutu. He's right here, and so we would want to invite him into the discussions to also help us look at what the stories are has been circulated by the news media. Do stay on. We'll be right back. Alex Afenyo-Markin, Member of Parliament for Efutu, is also a member of the MPP, has also joined us. And Mr. Markin, we're talking about the strike action that is led by 12 unionized groups. And as a result of the announcement they made 2 days ago, they were expecting their membership to go on strike. It didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. Almost like a disappointment for many of them.
Well, I won't pick it from the angle of the so-called disappointment.
The reasons why
the issue is very simple. They have legitimate concerns. Government must look into it. They are interested in the management of their own monies. I heard my brother, the usual blame game, trying as if people are insensitive. And that is where my problem is. You know, this government would never hesitate in engaging in blame game. When doctors go on strike, they don't care about Ghanaians, they don't care about the sick. When civil servants want to address a legitimate concern, you now raise issues like, yes, people get paid without working for it. They should have exhausted all negotiations before.
That's not true. You should have exhausted, because that's what the regulations are stipulated by the labor law.
But you and I do not know whether or not they exhausted. But we can say for a fact that they are reasonable people who will not just go on strike for the sake of going on strike. In fact, how many times have we heard them ever declaring strike? For several years. I mean, these are people who would always want to kowtow to their master's command. You know, they are a group of people in the public service who would not want to have issues with their political leaders. So for them to declare a strike, it should tell you that indeed somebody was not listening to them. But as usual, you get government communication team trying to, you know, water it down by saying that, oh, they should have exhausted, they should have engaged government the more and all that. Now, where we are, the people are saying that they want an independent management of their pension fund. Government release the funds, release it. This thing has been going on for some time now. You know, I saw a petition in my pigeonhole in Parliament way back November last year. So for somebody to say that they've not engaged government sufficiently, I would say it's a mere political propaganda.
Oh.
But we cannot play politics, do propaganda with people's future. We cannot. And that is what government officials and government functionaries and communicators must know. In trying to, you know, defend government position, in trying to let government look good, they must also be mindful of the fact that these people are reasonable Ghanaians who have sacrificed their lives and are working, and they need some assurances about their future. If ordinary Ghanaian businessmen could go to jail or could be charged with a criminal offense for non-payment of SSNIT contributions or for delay in payment of SSNIT contributions, how much more government, if it decides not to pay or it decides not to release what it's supposed to release, for people to have the assurance that yes, my future is being secured? Because people are concerned, government is borrowing here and there. I mean, they don't want a situation whereby government, because of pressing demand, could be compelled into touching. These are their worries. They feel that government may even spend their future. This is their worry. So don't let us talk about the issue, talk about, yes, they calling for a strike, people did not participate. If we dare them, you see, if you dare them, they would organize. And you see, these are matters of collective benefits. You will organize, and within days, today that we have social media, they will organize. Within days, they will prove to you that, yes, if indeed they did not communicate properly this time, they are communicating properly, and their people will sit home. So sometimes these labor people, they have a way of doing their things. Perhaps they declared a strike, you know, behind the scenes, told their people, it's just a mere signal. Don't lay down your tools. Let's just let government know that we are there. But if you want to say that, oh, people did not want to participate, you want to play politics with it, give them some few days. I know what I'm telling you. There are times that strikes could be declared, but really, the intention is not to go on strike that very day. It's just to signal. But if you want to now say that the declaration by the leadership did not have popular support, or that the people did not have the appetite to go, so be it.
On face value and doing the analysis, that's what it seems like.
Unlike he admitted that he has not followed it. I've
never said I've not.
No, when he asks you whether they have exhausted the labor law or the
but you don't know as well.
I have followed I have followed it.
Indeed.
Let me tell you.
Indeed.
How do I?
Oh, you don't know.
So you know.
You are here because you are government communicator.
You are the only one who should know.
Indeed.
You are a communicator of government, of the opposition party, and I expect you to monitor all radio stations.
But you are saying that people are unreasonable.
Well, indeed.
No, you are therefore saying
I have listened to it. You are saying it. I have listened to one of the secretaries who said they never took a mediator, whether they exhaust the labor.
Indeed. 2 days ago.
It's good that you say
2 days
you
ago,
don't
when the
monitor.
declaration
Then
of
you
the
come
strike
and just
action
talk.
was announced, we were told by the minister, Haruna Idrisu, that they were even in the process of dialoguing with them prior to them declaring the strike action. That in itself, if you want to look at it in face value.
Roland, I disagree with you. I will not allow government to set the pace, try to control, use the media to create the impression as if the public sector workers are unreasonable.
But that's
you are saying that.
But that's your position.
You are saying that there are processes.
The point is, at what point do we say that the public sector workers are unreasonable? When we know that there's a real negotiation process that was ongoing, and they perhaps feel they may not be in a position of trust, or do not trust the whole process.
He's a lawyer. He should be able to distinguish the difference between unreasonable and illegality. I'm not a lawyer.
So you're saying what they're doing is illegal? Are you saying that the action by the workers is illegal?
Yes,
it's not within their rights.
They have not exhausted the laid-down procedure to go on strike.
That's the position of government.
That is it.
That is the position of government.
Because even on the 15th of October, they were to meet. They never went. And when Labour takes a decision to do it on faces, it will indicate it clear. They don't just declare strike, total strike, and at the end of the day, please, don't manufacture your own words. So the point is that he didn't listen.
No, he doesn't have a choice.
So he just got up and came.
Granted, you listen, he didn't listen. The point is that we have to talk about the substantives. The workers are demanding that they would want adequate management of their second-tier pension contributions.
Yes.
Because they feel government is imposing on them as a sole trustee, and they feel that it's inadequate.
And government they feel it's inadequate, and that is why the dialogue comes in.
Dialogue comes in.
Even though it is their money, but the leadership is managing it on behalf of a larger group. If government decides that this is the sole trustee, you negotiate. Even if the money is transferred.
Contrary to what's in the law, the law stipulates that you need to have at least 4. There are 4 approved now. They have 4 approved trustees.
Yes,
okay?
The government says
pension trust.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's dialogue.
And government is saying that they would want the Petra, is it the Petra Trust, to be doing the management of the second-tier pension funds. they feel that, no, you can't impose a sole trustee on us. Government is saying, now come, we'll negotiate how Petra can do the work for you.
You go and let them know that you are not willing to go that way, and therefore, because of A, B, C,
Whilst
D,
government is still insisting?
so it's
because
a negotiation.
Doesn't
It's a negotiation.
seem like it will budge in any way.
Why did they refuse the 15th October meeting? They should let everybody know that this is what we have got into. We went to this stage. We exhausted all the processes that is required by law, and as a result, we decided to go on strike.
The demands of the workers.
Well, Roland, I'm happy you've tried to put us within,
Context.
the substance of the matter. The issue is whether or not the concerns are legitimate. They are. I think so. And could government be serious about such concerns? Because all that they are asking for is within the context, within the framework of the law. They are not asking anything outside the law. They are not. If the workers were asking for anything outside the law, I will not do politics with it. I would be the first to say, look, what does the statute say? If you think that something more must be done, go to court and get a declaration, or negotiate and get cabinet approval so that it will be brought to parliament for us to amend. But so far, they are not asking for anything outside what the law stipulates. What government is doing now is to merely say that, oh, you should have taken your time, negotiated with us, talk to us. But at the same time, you have a hardline position. If you have a hardline position, somebody would want to react in a manner that would get you to soften your stance. Do you blame the person for it? Then you now attack the person is being unreasonable. And
nobody used the word unreasonable. You are manufacturing your word. Nobody mention one person in government who said use the word unreasonable.
Why are you,
it's very, very important.
Why do you shout in this matter?
No, I'm saying that use one word in a government communicator official who used the word unreasonable.
My good friend, we are good friends. Don't shout. I know you have a duty to defend government. I know, but in doing so, you yourself must be reasonable and be measured in the way you defend government. Don't think that you can, because there are people who are watching and listening. So if you try to shift the goalpost and do blame game as a way of defending government, please. It will become counterproductive. So let me make my analysis. I'm being very objective. I don't.
Who told you you are objective?
Of course I am.
That is within you.
Oh, of course. I'm not.
That is within you.
I'm not taking a stance here. I'm saying that they have legitimate concerns. If you, as government, you think that you want to meet them, don't start from the angle of blame game. If you question the rationale behind the declaration of strike, you are, in other words, I heard him, my brother, I heard him talk about people going on strike, not working and being paid. They should bear in mind that if they don't work and they expect pay, it's not right. If you say this in context, you are trying to say that the declaration of strike is unreasonable.
Okay.
That is clear, because you've said it on this platform right there. I heard you. You said that they get paid without working, but they don't. So
your conclusion is that the declaration of strike is reasonable. Now, in the context,
as a result of the failure of government to meet them.
And I've asked you this question in the context where, at the point of declaration, you had some arrangement of negotiation. The process had long begun, was continuing. You even had arrangement to even meet, but you defied that very meeting or appointment and go ahead and declare a strike. What does it mean?
Roland, we are dealing with a fundamental issue of trust here. Somebody can arrange a meeting, but you look at the person's past relationship with you, and you feel that that meeting,
meanwhile, government,
as a result of the person's conduct, that meeting would not yield anything. That is one example. Two, so far, the position you've taken by way of the question you put to me is based on the information from government. Is that not so? We've not heard from them.
No, indeed, they have also agreed that they were
lack of information.
They know about a meeting that had been scheduled, but they would not go and attend any meeting.
That is different from. There is a difference between we know of a meeting that has been scheduled.
The meeting was scheduled between the two parties.
I'm coming. Ro, do you want me to answer your questions? If a meeting is scheduled, it is meant for two parties. There's a difference between a scheduled meeting to discuss concerns or perhaps government hearing that there is a pending strike.
Is that your idea? That the meeting was scheduled by government?
It is a possibility. No. Government would always have its ears on the ground. Else, why must government have intelligence service? I mean, have national security? What are they there for? Their duty is to monitor, hear matters and report and advise government. Look, something is looming.
It's brewing.
So take action quickly. And I'm saying that on the basis of the variables, the people there, the union guys will say, look, these people, because they know we are going to declare this strike, they are scheduling this meeting. So the question is that, were there discussions that were yielding fruitful outcome prior to the so-called scheduled meeting? Okay? Because to me, if there was discussions that progress was being made, it would not have resulted in a sudden meeting being scheduled for a certain date. Again, it would not have resulted in these union, leaders declaring a strike. You see, if you just pick the strike action out of context, like my friend is trying to say, negotiations are going on in bad faith, union declares strike, and the strike has flopped. This is the impression they want to create in the media for people to feel that, after all, government was serious about their concerns, but these people were being unreasonable. And he doesn't want me to use the word unreasonable. That is the impression. This morning, all over, I've been listening to radio, all government communicators are creating the impression that, look, we were all ready for them. We had put in place measures. We had put in place the support systems. We were engaging them,
and you're saying that posture is not good.
I am telling you that it will be unfair for government in trying to create the look good impression, turn public perception or public opinion against the public servant. It's wrong, because these people have been with you. They've endured all the economic hardships, and now they are looking at their future. They tell you that, look, the way you want to manage their own contributions, their own pension fund, no. This is the way we want, and they are acting within the confines of the law. I conclude, he was raising a point, that it's not legitimate.
The two of you are Article 71 office holders. So definitely, I mean, at the end of your term, you're going to get a fat ex gratia. But
fat ex gratia. What is fat ex gratia?
That's what the workers seem to term.
I don't think so.
Your ex gratia at the end of the day. Is there a possibility that perhaps there's no sync, there's no some level of empathy between government and these workers? Because the political office holders, they don't seem to go through what perhaps, as far as emolument and all that are concerned, that the ordinary worker
we contribute to Senate as well.
I have not said you don't contribute.
Two, you could just see that my brother, since the news broke out yesterday, hadn't followed closely. And so he said, I think, so you just realize that he's not on the ground. He's just floating. Two, when I made mention of people not working and taking salary, just go and look at it. It is based on the grounds that they didn't follow the due process. If you had followed the due process, declare your strike, I wouldn't say that. Three, no government, no government official.
When has government ever?
No government official
Well,
said public workers are unreasonable.
You said
In
so.
fact,
You
they
said
voted for us twice and we beat them twice.
Oh, look at that.
Look at
2008, extremist look at that.
No. And two, we are social democrats.
Oh.
So we respect each and every individual.
You do?
Views, yes.
But so far,
why
for,
you
for
respecting
all
it?
this length of time, you've not taken into cognizance the concerns of the workers. If indeed you say you're a socialist, democratic party.
You see, I'm not the one, somebody who says, say, you can do whatever you want, and until second round, you go and try to settle them.
Christ.
Do you get my point?
Which one?
Let me tell you.
Who? I mean, this
Go
is
back
below
to
par.
Lagrat. What you told
Come on.
Lagrat.
Come on.
When
This
they had
is below
concerns,
par.
you ravished them. And when we're going second round, that is the time you realize that
No, that's
you
politics.
needed
Now,
to
listen,
sit
we are
down.
talking about the
politicians.
substantive.
We are politicians.
Well, I do understand.
And how he addressed it, I'll look at it from that
Well, I
angle.
do understand.
We sat down negotiating with them. We didn't say, oh, you can do whatever you want. And that is concern we have for them. And we promised that on the 15th, we're to discuss and see how it will go. Two, let's exhaust the necessary labor processes. I'm okay. And then finally say, oh, we'll go on strike on next week, Monday, sensitize your people, and then it kickstarts.
Well, I've asked you
So
this.
we are social democrats. We know what we are about.
I've asked you this. If you are in a dialogue session with a party,
Yeah.
okay, and all of a sudden the party says, I'm not going to listen to whatever you're saying halfway into the discussions. Doesn't it mean that whatever you've been saying and what they've been putting across, you're not listening?
No.
What does it mean?
You see, it means that the way you both look at the issue is different, and therefore you needed a platform. I can use a picture and describe it, and you see differently. You can also describe.
But that's
the
why
same picture
dialogue
and
is important.
Yes. So it is we need to have convergence.
But
where
here
we
lies the case,
discuss.
there's dialogue, but one party feels that the other party is not listening.
Then make sure you follow the right
Okay.
processes.
Now,
get a mediator, mediate, so that when you finally take a decision and issues come, we exhausted A, we exhausted B, we exhausted
why
C.
is government insisting, Mr. Mutawakilu, that it still wants to have a sole trustee for the second tier contributions of the workers, instead of the workers also suggesting that they want their own fund managers?
Government is that is the best way to manage. If you have a view, come. It's your money.
What's your opinion? You contribute
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
What's your opinion?
My opinion will depend on whatever government and the people agree.
You're a worker.
That is why.
You're a worker at the end of the day as well.
That is why government is willing to meet them, so that they have a decision.
That is why
both of them are fighting for the
That is why
interests.
I'm also picking from
Both
the
bodies-
utterances of the workers.
both
that
bodies are fighting
because
for
the
the interests
political
of the
office
ordinary
holders
worker.
are Article 71 office holders, they don't seem to empathize with the concerns they are raising.
That is why I contribute to Senate.
Well, I do understand
Yes.
you do the
So
contribution.
have interests. I have interests.
Okay.
Yes.
Now the workers want to have their own occupational fund managers. So
It appears that those who have followed the matter are confused. It appears that those who have followed.
no,
I'm referring to him. Yes. Those who have followed, who seem to understand the issues, they are now giving us a lecture. There are specific issues, deal with them. Not about just throwing, putting sentences and phrases together.
Now they want their own
We are talking
managers.
about, look, Ghanaian Times.
Government feels that
labor union demand must be met now.
government
It is uncharacteristic of a newspaper. It's a Ghanaian Times, not an opposition paper, a state media. It's a Ghanaian Times. Read editorial. You sit here. You see, you can be doing. Please let me talk. You are doing government communication. Don't just think that because you do government communication.
Now you are doing what communication?
now, so
just blaming the
now
workers. They are reasonable.
now we need to come to a
No, you see the word that is reasonable.
we
are using the
we
word that
all
is
need to
reasonable.
come to a compromise.
Roland, let's focus on the concerns of the workers.
But the point is that
are their demands outside the remit of the law?
well, Granted, their demands are within the remit of the law. Government is their employer.
The sole trustee issue.
Government is their employer, and if you read adequately the pensions law,
yeah,
it also stipulates that whoever the employer is also has an interest in how the second-tier contribution is also used adequately. Because at the end of the day, when the management of those funds fail, it comes back to the employer.
It should be a collective thing.
Good.
It should be a collective thing.
So perhaps,
government
can we take the position that the workers are also being unreasonable?
No, I disagree. On the grounds that government is talking about a sole trustee to manage. How do you propose a sole trustee management of the fund when there are other competing interests? That is my issue. And does the law allow government to appoint a sole trustee? You see, so don't let us do the usual politics. These are people, you raise a point, and I wouldn't run away from it. Article 71, you have 4 years. You have different conditions of service. They are human beings. They compare. They say, look, you are political leaders. Within 4 years or after 4 years, your conditions are different. We work 20 years, 30 years, 15 years. We need some assurances. Is it all that the workers are saying?
They just want cues.
They want to be sure that, look, the monies are being managed properly, it's being transparent, they have a stake in it, they see the financials, and they can be sure that when they retire, they won't go through hassle. But if you come and sit here, then you say you are following the story, and then you start to talk about 2008 and Nagrat and funny politics. No, you are not being serious. That is below.
How do we resolve this?
We can only resolve it if we approach it with an objective mind.
Which is
the genuine, legitimate concerns of the workers must be met without doing politics. If that is done...
But it's not what government is doing.
Please, that's not what government is doing. Government is in a state of denial.
Okay.
Government is not admitting to its own failures.
Government is willing to dialogue with them to
Now.
They were invited on the 15th. They didn't go.
Proud to the 15th.
Yes.
What did they do?
They have met.
Even 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
You see,
we're told that
they
was
have met. You
Not
see,
when everything is down. Not when you realize that you lost it.
No.
In the local parlance, Pascal,
You see,
lost what?
Okay.
Lost what? Lost what?
The people, they don't trust.
That means they have the opportunity to exhaust.
But now they need trust because they need to come to the negotiation table. That's the only way to resolve.
At least the workers have created an awareness.
Do you agree that negotiation is the only way to resolve the difficulty?
Oh, I
the
agree
workers
that
can't continue
ultimately
striking and thinking that government will curtail
ultimately,
whatever.
Ultimately, negotiations can resolve.
Okay.
However, if the workers had not brought this to the limelight, government would have continued to cajole them.